All right, let's talk about how AI is completely changing the game for marketing. And look, this is way more than just getting a few new fancy tools. We're talking about a huge strategic shift, a move from what we all used to call best practice to what we now have to think of as next practice. So, I want to kick things off with a question for you, and it's a big one. Is your AI actually making you faster, or is it just making you faster at making the same old mistakes? Seriously, how you answer that question tells you everything you need to know about where your company really stands. And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. The real AI revolution isn't about the software you're using. It's about your mindset. It's forcing a complete teardown of how we think, how we make decisions, and how we adapt to a world that's just moving at an insane speed. Okay, so first up, we've got to talk about this huge pitfall I see all the time, the AI acceleration trap. It sounds kind of dramatic, but it's a super common mistake, and just understanding what it is the first step to making sure you don't fall into it. And what's so wild is when you see it laid out like this. You know, marketing used to be this world of static campaigns that we planned out for months, all based on what happened last year. But now, forget about it. It's all about adaptive engagement, using predictive intelligence, and just constantly experimenting. The game has totally, completely changed. But here's the thing. Here's where it all goes wrong. Even with this brand new reality, most companies are still mentally stuck in the past. They're taking this incredible futuristic technology, AI, and trying to jam it into their old, clunky, rigid systems. It's kind of like trying to put a jet engine on a horse-drawn carriage. It just doesn't work. And you know what happens next, right? It's totally predictable. You don't get smarter, you don't get more effective, you just get faster at being inefficient. The speed you get from AI just ends up shining a giant spotlight on all the cracks and problems that were already in your system. Okay, so how do we get out of this trap? Well, it all starts with a huge mental shift. We've got to move away from just planning and start sensing. Let's dig into what that actually means. This right here, this shows you the whole game change. The old plan and execute model, it's dead. It's over. You just can't spend months planning a campaign, launching it, and then checking the results later. Why? Because the market changes every single day. Your customer's behavior is always evolving. The whole context can shift in a heartbeat. The only way to win now is to sense and respond. So at the end of the day, it's not about having the most perfect, detailed, long-term plan anymore. Not even close. It's about being able to sense what's happening out there faster than anybody else, and then having the agility to respond to it smarter. Okay, so this whole sense and respond thing sounds great, right? But how do you actually do it? Well, we can break it down into 4 simple but really powerful rules for being agile with AI. All right, rule number 1. And seriously, if you take away just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Context is the real personalization. I mean, come on, we toss around that word personalization all the time, but usually it's just scratching the surface, right? Using a first name in an email. True personalization, the stuff that really works, is about a deep understanding of context, the culture, the timing, what's happening locally. I love this example. It's so simple, but so brilliant. During Ramadan, McDonald's put up a billboard. During the day, when people are fasting, it just showed an empty French fry box. But after sunset, the ad changed to a full one. There was no complex AI prompt, no crazy data crunching, just pure, empathetic understanding of their audience's world. That's human insight, and it's powerful stuff. All right, which leads us perfectly into rule number 2, and this is all about the human side of the equation. This is so important. AI doesn't get rid of human judgment. Not at all. It makes it more valuable. AI is amazing at spitting out options and spotting patterns, but it has no wisdom. It doesn't understand your brand's reputation or ethical lines or what makes sense for the long term. That's where you come in. That's where human judgment is absolutely critical. I mean, just think about it like this. You're hiring someone. Who do you pick? The person who can list 10 different AI tools but doesn't really know your industry? Or the person who only knows a couple of tools but has deep, deep expertise in your field? It's a no-brainer, right? AI without that deep knowledge just creates more noise faster. But when you combine that expertise with AI, that's when you start creating some serious value. Okay, on to number 3. And this tackles a huge mistake a lot of people make when it comes to personalization. You know, so many companies think, oh, our AI for personalization just isn't working. But guess what? You don't have an AI problem. You have a data problem. AI is just the engine. High-quality data is the fuel. If your data is a mess, if it's not clean, not connected, not segmented properly, then your fancy AI engine has absolutely nothing to run on. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, rule number 4. Think about it. We're about to be swimming in a sea of AI-generated content, right? It's going to be everywhere. So what's going to stand out? A thoughtful, well-designed, human-centric experience. That's your secret weapon. When everything else feels automated and kind of generic, that intentional, crafted human touch is what builds brands people actually care about. All right, so when you pull all of this together, what does the new playbook even look like? Let's quickly sum up this massive shift we've been talking about. This table just lays it all out perfectly. We're moving away from standard, one-size-fits-all campaigns to real contextual engagement. Instead of rigid, fixed plans, we need dynamic, in-the-moment responses. We're shifting from a tool-first mindset, what new tool can I use, to a problem-first one, what customer problem am I solving? We're going from just playing around with AI to actually integrating it. And maybe most importantly, we're shifting from focusing on just creating stuff, the output, to focusing on the actual results, the outcome.